Trap money, penny. Got me in my feelings. Gotta be real with it. Yeah. Kiki, do you love me? Are you riding? Say you never ever leave from beside me. Cause I want you, and I need you. And I'm down for you always, KB. Do you love me? Are you riding? Say you never ever leave from beside me. Cause I want you, and I need you. And I'm down for you always. Look, the new me is really still the real me. I swear you gotta feel me before they try and kill me. They gotta make some choices, they running out of options. Cause I've been going off and they don't know when to stop. And when you get the I see that you've been learning. And when I take you shopping, you spend it like you earned it. And when you popped off on your ex, he deserved it. I thought you would've won from the jump, that confirmed it. Trap money, Benny. I buy you champagne, but you love some Henny. From the block like you Jenny. I know you special, girl, cause I know too many. Risha, do you love me? Are you riding? Say you never ever leave from beside me. Cause I want you, and I need you. And I'm down for you always, JT. Do you love me? Are you riding? Say you never ever leave from beside me. Cause I want you, and I need you. And I'm down for you always.
Too bad, then we kissing in a wave. Kissing in a wave. Kissing in a wave. I need that black card in the code to the safe. Code to the safe. Code to the safe.
I show 'em how to network. Netflix and chill. What's your net worth?
Cause I want you, and I need you. And I'm down for you always. And I'm down for you always. And I'm down for you, down for you, down for you always.
I got a new boy and a
Kiki, do you love me? Are you riding? Say you never ever leave from beside me. Cause I want you, and I need you. And I'm down for you always, KB.
Are you riding? Hey, everybody. Peace, peace, peace.
Hey.
It is the guy with the bow tie checking in with you live for another edition of Business with Benefits. To my right, you will see, wrong way. To my right, you'll see Rosalin Krieger. How you doing, Rosalin?
Hey, okay. Wonderful.
Represent from Canada. So we had to get some Drake in the mix to represent for Canada real quick. Want to say thank you to hashtag Team Live, hashtag Team Replay. However you consume the content, we appreciate it. Please let us know down below in the little comment section if you're on YouTube or LinkedIn. Either one, we appreciate it. And Rosalin and I met through comments. She's a firecracker and actually met through a Cher Jones live. So Cher Jones is in Canada also, does a lot of social media networking, and she's been up professionally black and stuff like that. And then I saw Rosalin in the comments and started talking. So Rosalin, for the people that don't know you and don't know what you do, kind of let them know who you are and the work you do in the world.
So I think the main thing I do is help people get clear about taking action, about why they're stuck. And mostly it's been my pride and joy, especially under COVID, is getting clear about how I'm going to work with fear. For like many people, I have been overwhelmed by fear. I've been stuck and I have not been showing up in my life. And to be honest, it's COVID that really lit a fire under my butt. And I finally listened to our mutual friend, Cher Jones. I got on LinkedIn. I began to go into the LinkedIn lives, commenting and mentoring. And long story short, I'm on your show.
Bum, bum, bum. So it is possible to get live by networking. So yeah, it's that hashtag you see out there, LinkedIn works if you work it. And
no begging involved. No begging. Like I love your tag. Was it have a plan, not a plea? Too many of you are begging on here. Stop begging.
She did not beg. And now I'm going to put a disclaimer. That doesn't mean everybody that gets to go on the show just by mentioning stuff. You actually have a compelling message. And you always show up on other people's content. So that means you say, you know what, Rosalin's a good person and putting that good content. So let's have her on the show. So let's talk about that journey. You mentioned that she told you to get on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So our topic today is compassion. Before we get into compassion, though, before you got on LinkedIn, what was the way you were running your business before that?
I honestly thought LinkedIn was just so above me. It was something unattainable. I didn't belong here. So, I would just kind of hope business would mysteriously, land in my lap. I wish that. I don't know if I was naive or wishful, or maybe I watched too many TED Talks, but I just didn't have a practical strategy. And I'll be honest, I want to move towards being more intentional, as Cher always says. And I told you at Linked Lunch, once I get intentional, I'm going to kick everybody's ass. Once I get intentional, so, you know,
Canadians don't talk like that, Rosalind. Come on,
yes,
Canadians
we
don't talk like
do.
that.
Yes, we do. Yeah, we do, man. We say and kick your ass and worse things in private first. Yeah, but so, and the one thing she said to do, what was it? She said, I only did, and bear in mind, I only did like 3 things. I began to really work on my LinkedIn profile. And I'll be honest, many of you, your LinkedIn profile needs development. It needs a focus. It needs your personality. It needs to show how you want to help people. I tweak mine, maybe because I'm paranoid, about at least 2-3 times a week. As
Yeah.
I grow and develop, so does my LinkedIn profile.
And you mentioned something before we started before we went live about the time left on the clock and the sense of urgency. So kind of for you, why is this so important for you now at this stage in your life?
Because I'm old and gray, man. I'm old and gray. You know, the wonderful thing, you know what? I colored my hair for 38 years. Just think about it. And under COVID, I couldn't. So I had to learn to accept myself. And I got to tell you, this is one of the great gifts. I'm very privileged under COVID. We're saying, you know what? This is your hair. Accept yourself. It's okay. The world isn't going to end. So I began to actually do what my therapist told me to do. Really love myself, and I'm going to plug this book, but this book was on my shelf for years, Daryl. I never used it. Okay. Holding up stuff. Now I have began doing it. I do the mirror work, and yes, I have moments when I lapse, but I rebound quickly, as I say. And for me, I realized before I even began to implement share strategies, I said, okay, you need to double up on your EMDR therapy because I've had childhood trauma, PTSD, and talk therapy, which I did for years. It doesn't work for people like us. We need a body connection because when you experience trauma, you disconnect from your body. So
You said talk therapy didn't work. You said
no, because there's no treatment and there's no accountability. Right? So when I began, as I told you before, this is a must. If you think you have trauma or you're doing things in your brain, you can't understand them, read this book. You may get the diagnosis I did. It's kind of like when people say, I had dyslexia, but didn't know I had dyslexia, and I got diagnosed, I got help. The same thing for me. And we have in our province, we're so lucky, it's called affordabletherapy.com. I found somebody and I can afford therapy, and it's been the greatest investment in myself, in my mental health. And whatever I learn, I share with people, with you, anyone who's listening, with people I work with who are still fearful, who are afraid of stepping into their greatness, who are afraid of change. Like I'm still fearful of change, but I'm here. I'm here. Right.
So let's break that down because I've heard you mention on Linked Lunch before the EDMR therapy. What is that for people that don't know what it is?
It's real. You know what? It's a form of reframing. I'm going to type in the chat. So people hear the word reframe. It doesn't mean you're redoing a picture in your house. Okay. Reframing is you take a memory that's a trauma in your body, you revisit it, you release the pain, but then you change the message in that original traumatic experience. So you rid yourself of that pain, and then you see it as in something that can empower you.
Okay.
So you no longer attach that original trauma to that pain. Does that kind of make sense? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and especially, in a quick 30-second explanation, it makes sense. I'm sure it's a lot more intense than just what that was said.
It is. But again, it takes courage to heal. So there's a misconception about therapy. Therapy is for weak people. No, it's not. No, it's not. That's a stigma, unfair stigma. I'm not weak. You know, I've been through a lot, like a lot of people. But I thought I didn't love myself enough to do it. But there was a little crumb in me. Rosalin, you're worth it. Get that help. And show up for that 1 hour and feel all those feelings you've had buried for years. Like feelings don't go out the door. You can't put them in a box somewhere and then put them on a shelf. They're in your body. You're like, I push them away, push them down. You're not pushing them anywhere. Okay, they're going to come out in chronic disease and other things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're lucky enough to reach 54 like me and you're still suffering, get help. Okay, get help. You're worth it. Have the courage to get help. And that's what I encourage in all people. Get help. Get clear about your life. It's later than you think. As I said on Linked Lunch, it's later than you think.
Would you say that then, when you mentioned, you and I were talking about the power of compassion, that what you mentioned was like, weakness in therapy, and that's a weak thing. Would you say compassion is one of the first steps in realizing that that's not a thing?
Oh my God. Before compassion, you must have self-compassion. If
Mm-hmm.
you don't have compassion for yourself, if you cannot forgive yourself, you cannot forgive others, you could not have compassion for other people. It all begins with you. Your most important relationship is with you, right? As I said, not your mother, not your credit card, not your Amazon Prime account, it's with you. But you've got to speak to yourself with kindness. And I'll be honest, sometimes I don't do that, but I know you got to go back to the kindness, Roz. This calling yourself names or cursing, that's not going to help you.
Mm-hmm.
So the good thing is I come back in the past before in DR, I would just keep myself stuck and I couldn't move forward. Now it's like a blip. And if I wake up the next day, oh my God, it's a wonderful new day. I can be myself. I can take chances. I can do things that scare me. Great.
Right.
Yeah, and I can help other people, inspire other people.
And
That's
what's cool about that story too is that when you mentioned Sherry Jones getting involved in it, her compassion is kind of what helped you have compassion for others on the platform. Because I
oh
mean,
God, yes.
she has a great following, great show, a lot of messages going out there. She didn't have to stop and do that to talk with you and
No,
all that.
no.
But that little piece of compassion helped you to show up better on here.
Yes, share. And people probably say share Jones, by the way, and hashtag #JustActShare is one of a kind. I don't know anyone that successful, that busy, who answers all of your messages right
Right.
away. No, I'm serious, Daryl. She answers my messages on Facebook, if I'm on LinkedIn, if I'm on Instagram. So not only does she provide great weekly content every Tuesday night, 8 o'clock Eastern time, uh, she's just the real deal. I met her at a talk probably 8 years ago, and I was impressed. And then I got to see her at a networking event for diversity in media 7 years ago. And now it's you feel like you've been her longtime friend forever. That's what she has. It's the gift.
Yeah.
It's a
That's
gift.
awesome to have that longevity, because I mean, social media, there's not a lot of compassion because it's kind of like people just want to
Yes.
churn and burn and just get the result and move on. But your business is basically about mindset, because I mean, you're helping people get their mindset together. So talk about that for a second, like why you have a certain age group I know you focus on. Why do you focus on a specific age group with the work you're doing?
I think, well, I'm interested in people. I think because 36 is middle age. Hello, people. It's actually 36. I see people saying 50 is middle age. No, you're not. If you're 50, you're not middle aged. Okay, that's number one. So for people who have reached a certain age, who are underachieving, who are kind of going through the motions, and who come to me and say, you know what, I found out I have an interview. I need to work on my critical thinking skills. I got to work on my writing. A lot of people in their 30s have come to me because they have been told, you better learn how to write better. And that there's such a dearth in writing and thinking with clarity that I'm frankly shocked. But that has been those people are the ones coming to me the most. But definitely,
Mm-hmm.
mindset is the foundation. It's not enough to say I need help. You have to say, I need your help. I need to work with an expert. I'm going to invest time in you, but also invest in myself and show up. If I give you stuff to do and you don't show up and you don't do it, you're not going to get anywhere. And there aren't any shortcuts. People want shortcuts. They all want to be Michael Jordan. They all want to be they want to be Serena, and they want to do it. You know what? How about 2 hours? You know what? You can do 2 hours. Go bounce the ball somewhere. See how far it gets you. No, no. You got to be serious. This is a long-term commitment for the important life skills that you need. You're not buying a coffee here. You're not buying
Right.
a pocketbook. This is your life.
Well, the interesting you mentioned with that line of coach compassion, because I mean, as the coach, there's a difficult line to walk of that compassion for people are damaged, people have issues and things like that, but you're trying to push them. So I find myself in my coaching with my agents sometimes having to walk that line of like, you need to have this result to get what we're talking about.
Yes.
But I know you had a loss in the family, or I know you were sick or something. So as someone that's going through your own compassion for your self-compassion, how do you walk that line for the people you're coaching of like, how much is too much for them?
No, that's a good question, but that's a little different. Like, for example, I have a client, and like we all do have clients who go through an illness, a sickness, who don't get a job. I've actually helped them coach for. In one case, one woman, she wasn't even offered the interview, and I felt so bad for her. So I said to her, you know what? Do you want to talk now? Do you want to do a debrief now? Not part of your package, free of charge, because I want to emotionally support you.
Right.
That's what I do. Like, I'm not a talker. I actually do it. Right. And what's funny is, look, believe this, I tell all my clients, email me, text me, phone me between our meetings. I'm here. And you know what? Most of them don't, Daryl. They don't. And I sincerely want to help them anywhere I can. So I find that kind of sad that people don't take me up on, I'm struggling here. Whether they're afraid of being vulnerable, I don't know, but I'm sincere. I sincerely want to help. I
wonder if it's that self-compassion when you say that they won't do it. I mean, because it's hard to say something's wrong with you. I mean, look at I love that LinkedIn's so transparent compared to other platforms in the past I've been on, because most platforms are like flash and what's going on. But like, I just can't partake in that anymore because I'm like, I know that's not real. But speaking of real in the audience, we had Mr. Floyd over here saying Team Live. Hey, Floyd, thanks for representing for us.
Floyd's coming up too. He's coming up too, right?
Yeah, he'll be on here Wednesday.
Yeah.
Miss Catherine out there, I keep wanting to say Florida. Catherine, I think you're in Florida still. I know you move around a bit, but Catherine, thanks for being Team Live.
Sanella, beautiful. Thank you.
She said this is helpful.
Yes. Hello, Miss Hudson. Carolyn
Miss
Hudson.
Carolyn said, interesting that clients don't follow up. Now, this is interesting because there's other coaches and consultants on here.
Yeah.
When they don't follow up, do you think it's because they're kind of ashamed in some regard of like, I don't want to say something's wrong, or I don't want to put extra focus on me? There's already enough focus on me. Do you think that's part of the process or the issue?
It could be anything. Listen, we're complicated people. Many of us, we're dealing with deep-seated thoughts and ideas that are rooted in childhood, right? It could be a lack of self-acceptance. In general, I'm still noticing is that women still feel like I'm not worthy. Most of my clients, to be honest, begin with very low self-esteem, which is why I have what I would say is a natural connection to them. I understand a lot of what they're going through, but I also know that you actually have to be honest about your self-esteem, not be in denial about it, and have the courage to actually love yourself, want to love yourself. And I know it's a cliche that song, The Greatest Love of All by George Benson, but it's true. It's the foundation for everything. If you don't love yourself, you're not going to get the help, even when it's part of your coaching package, right?
Yeah.
You've seen how teachers feel. They're up there giving their all, and then you have kids who just won't do certain things, And as I said, it breaks my heart, but I know what it's like when you're in that tunnel and you're not connected and you don't feel valuable. You won't help yourself. And you know what, Daryl? It's painful.
Yeah.
And it's painful for your parents to watch you because they're like, I want to help you. I love you. But as the saying goes, you can't help someone who won't help themselves. Like when I was in that mire of self-abusive behavior, I swear to you, I didn't know. I know it doesn't make sense, but unless you're in it, unless you've lived it, I can't explain that to you.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I mean, I talk to my kids about that with like schoolwork or just personal things that if I don't see them trying to change that behavior or that issue, because they want to, I can't help them. Like, you gotta want to take care of yourself and do these things. I can't make you want those things, but it's difficult as a parent because you want that to be in the person. So you're dealing with adults that have damage and all kinds of things. And then Catherine actually mentioned something as well. She said, I reach out and touch base with my clients that I don't hear from. She's asking if you do the same. So do you reach out to your clients when they go radio silent?
Of course I do. Of course I do. Sure I do. Yeah.
And then Mr.
Hey,
Nishant
Nishant's here. Of course
said
I
hey to
do.
me and Rosalin. Thanks for jumping in, sir.
Even ask Nishant. Nishant and I had an amazing talk yesterday. I've already reached out to Nishant. You know what? Can you take a moment, write down, and get to the root of that fear?
Yeah.
Right? Nishant, we'll do some coaching right now. And again, but I'll just say, if you're resisting doing something that you say you want to do, have the courage to find out why. Get
Yeah.
at the resistance, because it's all based in fear, but fear that goes back years.
Yep.
Years. Right? And that's what people who are looking for, again, for quick fixes, are not going to get the results they want. And also, this is where empathy comes in. When you're dealing with somebody and you have not experienced their trauma, their difficult childhood, you got to have empathy, and you cannot judge them. There's too much judging still going on. Like, oh, why can't she just do that? What's wrong with her? Is she smart? Why isn't she doing that? You know what? Then you're asking the wrong questions.
And that makes me think of an interesting point. Somebody else saw, I think it was on, I saw a post about empathy, and the person challenged, like, I don't think you can teach empathy. Like, you can't teach empathy. So what are your thoughts as somebody that's into mental health, into coaching? Do you think empathy can be taught to somebody?
Oh, God, I hope so. I think so. Honestly, can I teach it to everybody? No, I don't believe so. But if the person who has done enough self-reflection, who is humbled, who is teachable, Daryl, think of all the people who just aren't teachable. Okay. Of course, I think you can teach empathy. I know. I think so for sure.
So guys, comment about that too. If you think either if you think it's teachable or you think it's depending on the person, because there are some things like you can teach basketball, but you might not be able to teach the perfect dunk or something like that. So it might be in that same vein that you can teach it, but some people think empathy is a feeling. Maybe that's why they think you can't teach it, because it's a feeling. I think you can teach it because it's a communication behavior, but let us know in the comments if you think empathy can be taught. It just depends on the person. I want to do a quick switch out here while you guys think about that for our Bow Tie Nation. I'll put this on. I'll catch you on the other side. It's Bow Ties for life. All right, Adam Kenichia. I always mess his last name up, but Adam has been wearing a bow tie as a CFO guy. I see on LinkedIn all the time. Adam, you are a Bow Tie Nation representative. If you guys know someone that likes to wear a bow tie, please comment their name. I love to find other people that wear this piece of cloth in their neck as much as I do.
I love the bow tie now because of you. Seriously, you changed my mind about bow ties. There you go. And that's
it's a top skill.
Yeah, but that's because I'm teachable. You see the main difference? People who are taking being teachable for granted. I am receptive to new ideas. I don't see it as a weakness, for example, to wear a mask. Okay? Like that stuff. When I was
man, we're gonna go down to the can of worms right now.
I'll be a bit. When I was asked to wear a mask here, I said, sure.
Right.
Why? Because I'm part of a collective community.
Public health.
Right?
You were 100% right, and that's why Catherine said put yourself in their place. So that's the important thing with empathy, to put yourself in someone else's place. Yeah, I'm glad Canada's doing a better job than we're doing with this whole mask thing. So thank you for across the border.
I want to say one more thing. I don't want people to think here I see a suggestion here that people aren't following up with me. I'm talking about, for example, when someone, we've had a session, we meet usually once a week.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some people, you have to understand, people who honestly can be uncomfortable expressing discomfort. Not everyone is an unfiltered open book like me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That doesn't mean like there's a problem with our coaching relationship. It just means it's different. There are certain things he or she will share in session, and some they won't. Not everyone is comfortable expressing their needs. Right? I think so.
I'm asking the people in the comments too, coach
That's
or therapist.
that's my point about clarity.
No, thank you for that. And then Carolyn said out there, yes, wear the mask. Carolyn, let us know where you are. I'm not sure if you're in Georgia like I am, but yeah, people in Georgia don't want to wear the mask. And Floyd said, absolutely, if they come with the right mindset and they have the right teacher. That's good. It's like that saying when the teacher arrives when the student appears, the teacher arrives.
That's exactly what a recent client told me. I said, you're here because you're ready. She said, yes, I saw you commenting in a LinkedIn Live. She goes, I had a feeling about you. And I swear we had our consultation. I think we booked it the next day and she signed. She said, I feel comfortable with you because I listen, I'm non-judgmental, and I have sincere compassion for women struggling with notions of victimhood, of feeling they aren't good enough. Because she actually said, I'm a victim. I said, you're a victim if you think you're a victim. I said,
get some reactions for that. That's a good one. Get some reactions for that.
I said, you're not a victim. No, you're not. Right. So, and often they actually need someone to say to help to reparent them. Right. What I'm doing now for myself and others is I reparent myself. I give myself the parenting I didn't get that most of us don't get as kids. Right.
Yeah. And that made it interesting.
A lot of mentoring. So I'm a mentor, coach, instructor, writer, editor,
everything.
Mother, grandmother. I mean, it's all there.
You opened up a can of worms with Carolyn because she says she's in Florida. So for anybody following COVID-19, Georgia and Florida are dark red on the map for cases and everything. I want to ask the audience real quick, do you think compassion has anything to do with the way we handle COVID-19? So let us know in the comments, do you think compassion has anything to do with the way we're handling COVID-19?
Lack of compassion. I like it.
Well, yeah, having or not having it, either one. I would argue that Canada is a bit more of a compassionate country than the United States. You have socialized healthcare, the people are a little bit different. So I think as a Canadian, your culture is more compassionate than ours. So I think it has something to do with it, but let us know in the comments, do you think compassion or lack of compassion?
Okay, listen, I don't want you thinking there aren't like people here who are like, I'm not wearing a mask. That's against my rights. Like these are people who want to say, I'm oppressed too. I'm a victim too. Forget about people experiencing racism. Look at me. This is tyranny. You're making me wear a mask. Like they've waited years to say, I'm a victim too of prejudice.
Yeah.
This is you're attacking my civil liberties. You know, we have those too. They're in my building, for God's sake. They're here.
That's mindset, though. That's all mindset. I mean, at least I think that's the biggest thing that we see. We're being cooped up now, is that you can see mindset a lot more clearly online or when you're out and about, because it's challenged people to work on their mind a lot more. I mean, you've been in business for a while. You've probably seen a lot more need for your work in the last couple of years, not a couple months, I'm guessing, right?
Oh God, Lord, Daryl, I don't even know where to begin. We need, you know what? As the saying goes, the people who need to be in therapy are the ones who don't go. Okay, people need to just get honest about so much. What we do is fear-based. If you're afraid of other people, if you're afraid of change, if you're afraid of COVID, one response that's fear-based is denial, right? Oh, it's a conspiracy. Oh, I'm losing my right to move around. It's all fear-based. But if you don't have the courage to admit, that this is rooted in childhood or trauma, then you're not going to get anywhere. And even worse, you're making others suffer. You're making others sick. You're putting frontliners in danger. People who drive buses. It's just not fair.
Yeah, and I know that wasn't the point of our talk, but the fact that this is still going on is just kind of, I've always looked at countries' responses to this and kind of thought about mindset was the issue. And that wasn't what our talk was about, but you can see the mindset of the United States versus Italy, Europe, UK. You can see the mindset thing being a big thing. So your work is vitally important because people need that. Now, do you focus exclusively on women, or is it men and women?
It's men and women.
Okay.
But I have a soft spot because I'm over 50. And as I said, I want women over 50 who have higher pain points to reach out to me. Because as I said, I was a glorious, talented underachiever, jealous, envious. And I tell the men, your envy and jealousy is only going to make you more envious and more jealous. It's not going to anything for you. So admit it, say you need help, and you don't have to come to me. Heck, do something on YouTube, do a module, but take action.
Right.
You're, I made a post that got a lot of views 2 weeks ago. You got to choose your fear. Choose the fear that keeps you stuck and gives you a false sense of security, or choose the fear that comes with growth and change. You've got a choice. You always have a choice. I thought I didn't have a choice. I'm always going to hate myself. I'm always going to be an underachiever. I'm always going to be crippled by fear. I'm always going to be self loathing. Wrong, 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 and wrong.
I love all the wrongs. And then Catherine has something to add in there. Catherine said, what I found is that some companies are not at all compassionate. They expect payment for their services before the virus. People have lost their jobs, didn't realize what is going on. Yeah. This is, I think, the great rub of capitalism, I think, is what's happening with stuff like that. Capitalism has kind of overridden our normal human sensibility, in my opinion. So, Catherine, I understand.
Not here.
Look, everybody's moving to Canada when this is over. Let's just go moving with Rosalin. This is just
we got plenty of space. Plenty of space. Okay, now our Costco is not as sexy as yours. We don't get the cool Costco stuff that you get. We don't have Wegmans. We don't have Piggly Wiggly. But there's enough good food, enough donuts for everybody. Okay.
Hey, there's some vegan donuts. I'll check it out. They got some vegan donuts. I'll take a look.
There are.
I'm in then.
I used to do food tours before COVID. I used to do amazing food tours. Mostly people of color owned businesses. And there's amazing vegan donuts in Toronto. So if you come here post-COVID, I'm taking you for vegan donuts.
Hey, there we go. I got a Canadian buddy to go see. And you just made me bring up one last thing to kind of wrap things, is the compassion with, you mentioned Trump, businesses of people of color. I've often had battle with the fact that, Black entertainers have talked about the plight of the Black experience in the United States, at least for many years, with film and music and art and all kinds of things. Yeah. And it was always perceived as just art. And you're an artist yourself, so you can understand this, but it was just art. It wasn't like it really meant something. And I feel like now people like yourself and others speaking up are showing the compassionate side that maybe you always knew, but some people didn't know it. So would you say that compassion is one of the big things that will help kind of level the playing field more for people to understand that if one race is taken care of, all races are taken care of?
Okay. This is like a dissertation, but I will do my best.
Let's do it.
Okay. Everything begins with self-compassion. And I'm repeating myself here, but it's true. I'll tell you a pivotal moment in my life. And I remember, I also grew up, I'm a very sensitive child, born of a very sensitive mother. But when I was 8 years old, I watched a show from your country called Eyes on the Prize about the Black civil rights movement. I was, I think, maybe like a kid, 8 years old. Daryl, that TV event shaped my life profoundly. So much so that I became obsessed with Black civil rights. I'm not just saying it because you're Black. You know a little bit about me. We've had some conversations.
Yeah, I've seen you. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I'm the real deal, right? I post up yesterday about Stacey Abrams, Black voter suppression. And I don't think your oppression isn't just yours. It's my concern too.
Right.
Right? I'm your sister, you're my brother. And I mean it. Right? I live it. Like I'm reading, like I love most of my authors that I've taught about when I was a lecturer were of African descent. I'm the only person in Canada who taught courses on the Harlem Renaissance painters. Okay? Think about it. Okay? And I like them because they create art that speaks to me, not because I'm of Black descent. They talk about identity. They talk about struggle. Those are the things. So that's why, for example, James Baldwin was the most important writer in my young life. I discovered him after he died. I saw The Price of the Ticket again on PBS, and it changed my life. He taught me so much about anti-Black racism. I'll be forever thankful to him. And that's why much of my work has flowed from that. When I wrote about Seinfeld, I wrote about racism in Seinfeld. Like you can Google my papers; they're all up there. I wrote a global academic specializing in the evolution of the Jewish sitcom, but the only one talking about race, right? When people write about race in TV, like Sex and the City and Seinfeld, they don't mention race. I mean, are you crazy?
Right.
You know, Seinfeld was this mythical landscape where the sitcom itself is rooted in racism. It's rooted in Amos and Andy, for God's sake. It's tainted.
Mm.
Right? So for me, it was a no-brainer. If someone says you have to care and support, a Black Lives Matter or people here, of course I'm going to do it. I'm a human being. If you can,
And it affects other people. It's not just. I mean, that's the thing when they had that shooting out here with the two Caucasian boys that got shot supporting Black Lives Matter, and that's what I've been trying to get people to understand. If it's not really just only supporting Black people, it's the house that's on fire, but it does affect other people. Because if anybody cannot have compassion towards one race, they can have no compassion towards the age or a gender or a location you live in.
We're all in this together. We're one big family. And if you can't see that, it's Black Lives Matter because they don't matter. Are you serious? Don't insult my intelligence by saying, I don't, that means you bloody well know what it means. I hate,
yeah.
I hate this gaslighting, Daryl. But all lives matter theoretically. Okay, theoretically, but not in reality. Stop the gaslighting. Right. Stop the lying. Sorry.
Yeah, it's unfortunately everywhere. And I know we can do a whole other hour about that. And Catherine had it in here. Prices are going up. Prices on foods like you're talking about. Where's the compassion? I have no idea because I got to buy organic and vegan stuff, and they have been raising some prices. So I feel you, Catherine. And Carl said thank you for the insights.
I love Slutty Burger.
That's one of my classes. Slutty Vegan, yeah.
Slutty Vegan, see?
They posted some jobs up there. If you guys know anybody wanting to work at a Slutty Vegan, let me know. I want to help the HR person fill a few job spots they have there.
Now, Daryl, what other Canadian? Hey, Vanetta, love you. What other Canadian knows about Slutty Vegan, Daryl?
I don't know. Really, I only have a handful of Canadian people I talked to at this point. You, Cher, there's somebody else I talked to last week. Who was it? I'm forgetting that. There's probably like 5 Canadians I talked to consistently. So I don't know. You're the first one to mention it.
Slutty Vegan. I know a lot of the cool Black vegans. I know, for example, Hype Man. I follow Hype Man, HYPE. He's vegan. He does those cool videos with Mustafa, those cool dance videos that I saw.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, Hype Man, vegan. I just saw his Instagram yesterday.
Please, if you guys know a cool vegan thing for me to check out, put in the comments. I'm only on LinkedIn and YouTube, so if it's on IG, I don't see it. So if you know.
Now I learned you're a vegan. This is great. This is amazing.
It's one of the weird. I'm the only Black insurance vegan. When I'm say only, I'm probably the only Black insurance vegan guy you'll ever meet. And she said, just curious, does she use sliding price structure for her services? So have you kind of adjusted your prices because of COVID?
Yes, I have. Yes.
So Catherine, she's a kindred spirit.
Yes, like for example, I was asked to do 2 things: do a boot camp and to do a membership. So I'm working on my boot camp still, like a 2-month program, so I can get a lot of people in at an amazing, affordable price point, and also in a membership, which I think I promoted that on the link live, where I provide 2 15-minute lessons a week, 1 live, something like that, but definitely for sure. Because the need is so great, and it's good. It'll help me be a better teacher, be a better person, for sure.
It sounds like you and Catherine get along because she said actually I charge what they can afford, so she's definitely changed her price structure too. Speaking of that, where can people find out more information about your services if they want to learn more about that?
They can contact me here on LinkedIn. Just message me, but don't sell me Bitcoin. No Bitcoin.
Oh man.
What's that trader thing? Forex?
Forex trading. Yeah.
No. If you're a Forex person, I'm blocking you. I don't care who you are. I don't care. You guys are just annoying. Sorry.
You're not the first person that said that on the show. That's funny. That's like the spam of LinkedIn is Forex and Bitcoin.
It's silly. I can't take you seriously. And don't ask me. Don't go, hey, Roz, how's it going? You know what? I'm glad you asked. Can we talk about some really common sense etiquette in the DMs? Don't go, hi, how's it? It's so common. Like men, why are you going to women? Hi, how's it going? This isn't a bar. Okay. This is a professional platform. It's not for chatting, right?
Mhm.
So just say, I'd like to connect with you. Your work seems interesting, and don't expect this back and forth. I'm not
Yeah.
18 years old. I'm not 25 years
I'm
old.
54.
You
I'm not
know,
going to message you back and forth.
no, yeah, but there are men who do. I go, here's my email. If you have a
Right.
serious inquiry, if you want to collaborate, here's my email. And you're up, click. Okay. Then I go, crickets. I go, oh, I guess he
And let's
wasn't.
face it, there's enough going on. The message system here is not great. It's kind of hard to keep track of, so nobody has time to go through 200 messages of one person's. And then Carolyn said, bless you, Rosalin, for helping people in their time of need. Blessings will flow. She
They
supports me.
will.
Make sure you put your website up here, too. For people that want to learn more about Rosalin, make sure you check out our website down
Yay.
below. Go check that out. Now, I think on the website, you'll have your boot camp will be on there, as
No,
well
it's
as the
not
membership
there.
service.
I've been working on, as I said, this boot camp, and I'm being serious about this now, it'll be a beta boot camp. This is a work in progress. I'm inviting people it's about, I think, like $47,
Okay.
US. And you'll be part of this, this, what I call it again, beta group where we're experimenting, but I already have years of things I've used. We'll talk about getting clarity. We'll talk about taking action with fear. We'll focus, of
Mhm.
course, on mindset. And then we're going to actually, by the end of our sessions, end of the module series, we will talk about your actual project. We're going to mine it. What is it? Is it your big why? Is it
Right.
your big pivot? What is it? Do you want a vacation home in Florida? I don't know. You don't know. Let's find out, right? I'm going to teach you, for example, check in with yourself. It's not self-indulgent or weak. Ask yourself if your body tells you, I don't feel so good today. Well, then don't ignore it. Just go sit somewhere. Take 2 minutes, like I did yesterday. Go, how are you doing? It turns out I wasn't doing so well. I got too much
Mhm.
change. I'm putting it in 10 weeks. I mean, I'm putting myself through a hell of a lot of change. So my inner child was like, oh my God, this is crazy. What are you doing? I had to listen to her. You know what? You're right. You're right. We're going to go in the corner. We're going to take care of you and take.
Mhm.
So now I have to, I not have to, I choose to take more breaks because I was working at a neck breaking speed for 8 weeks. Do this.
Yeah.
It was too
I've
much.
seen you. You've been out there. I've seen you. That's
Yeah.
good. You took a break. And real
Yeah.
quick, Catherine added in there. Every day I get that. Give me a break. So she's getting the stupid messages in her inbox.
Yeah.
Um.
I posted today. I did a post. Look at my post, but I wrote it down. 5 things I want you to do today for self-care. Number 1, reflect. Okay, reflect. Don't wait until you're already feeling discomfort. Make it like check in with yourself on a regular basis and reflect. How am I feeling? What's going on? What's working? What's not working? How can I tweak it? Number 2, be patient. If you're not patient with yourself, you won't be patient with the people you help and serve. Okay? Sometimes I'm impatient. I have to remind myself, Rosalind, be patient. Be patient. 3, check in with others. A check in doesn't have to be very long, like a quick message, a text, a post. Like, how are you doing? How are you doing? Right? And then 4, as I said before, take a time out. I don't mean like punishing a kid in the corner. I need 15, 20 minutes. I turn off all my devices. I go sit somewhere. I put on my egg timer for about 15, 20 minutes and I zone out. This for me is so therapeutic. And the last one, self forgiveness. Please forgive yourself. Stop trying to be perfect. Okay, just forget that. And getting rid of perfectionism is a major part of what I do when we do mindset. Yeah.
Boom. And I want to do something real fun here at the end because now we have this story feature. So I want to actually do a. Rosalin and I are live right now doing a story at the same time, using 2 features at the same time. Story and live at the same time. Check us out next time on Business with Benefits, folks. And also, it is open enrollment season. If you don't understand insurance, that's why I'm here. Let me know if you need help in the U.S. I can't help Canada right now, but in the U.S., let me know. Rosalin, has been super fun. Folks, please make sure you share this with someone that needs help with compassion or wants to learn about Rosalin's boot camp. When does it actually start? I forgot to ask that. When does the boot camp start?
So we're going to start the first Monday in October. Is that October the 5th or something? I'm not sure.
That's the 5th.
Yeah, first Monday in October. And if you're serious, come. Even if you're scared, even better, come if you're scared. If you're scared but fed up that you're doing nothing and you're jealous and you're spending too much time on LinkedIn scrolling without purpose, you better come to the boot camp. That's all I'm going to say.
There you go. Might drop. Please, where I'm at in Georgia, starts October 12th. Voting has started in certain states already. I think Florida is one of them. I know Virginia voting has started. If you live in Georgia, we start October 12th, so a week after Rosalin's boot camp starts. So after you go to her boot camp, go vote the next week.